Hi, Shelly Ramus, Volunteer Specialist with the Iowa 4-H Youth Development Program. For this week's Volunteer Development video, we are focusing on helping our volunteers prepare for the fair, and more importantly, helping our volunteers to work with the youth to help them get ready for the fair. I have Mitch Hoyer here to help us with tips to share with your volunteers in regards to this topic. This is going to be a two-series topic. So this week is part 1 of our series, and next week we will have a part 2 on this same volunteer development topic. So Mitch, I will let you take over.
Well, thanks very much, Shelley, and glad to be talking with our staff and volunteers today. Certainly a common question that we get from volunteers and staff around the state is just how do we help members prepare their exhibits for the fair and prepare for that fair experience. There are very good reasons that we encourage 4-H members to make fair exhibits. Exhibits are one way for members to have pride in their accomplishments and their learning. Perhaps more importantly, exhibits are a way to share part of what they learned as they worked in their project areas throughout the year. Preparing an exhibit helps build communication skills. At this time of year, 4-Hers are hopefully thinking about what they might want to take to the fair. It's our role as staff and volunteers to help our members think through that so they can best demonstrate what they've learned. For example, a young person who has been working in food and nutrition may have started the year wanting to learn basic skills, including how to measure properly. So how could they show what they learned with an exhibit? The answer to that question really is there are many ways to show that. They might make a product, which is probably the standard way we think of it. I wanted to learn about food and nutrition and measuring ingredients, so I'm going to make cookies or muffins or a cake, and I'm going to take those to the fair as a way to show that I not only could measure correctly, but I could bake correctly. However, we might encourage that young person to think about making a poster showing how to measure and the difference between how you measure dry ingredients and liquid ingredients. We might also encourage that member to make mistakes, that instead of a third of a teaspoon, we use a third of a tablespoon and prepare products and then make some kind of display showing the difference. So it's really our role as staff and volunteers to help our young people discover alternatives or additional ways to what they might be thinking to share with the public what they learned. What do you do with that young person who says, I just don't know what to do? I've been working in this area and I don't have any idea how I want to share what I've learned. One of the things I want you to remember is that each and every one of our project areas has a project hot sheet. We locate the project hot sheets by going to the main Iowa 4-H webpage and under the heading that says Educational Resources and choose Projects, and you will find the list of our project areas. Let's use home improvement as one of our examples. So if we go to the home improvement area, and over on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see Project Hot Sheet. This takes you to the extension store. Simply choose Download, and voila! Here is the 4-H Home Improvement Project Hot Sheet. Each of our hot sheets in all the areas are designed the same way, and when you get to the second page of the hot sheet, there's a nice handy exhibit ideas area on the right hand side of all of our areas. So for example, if you have some person, a young person in your 4-H club working with the home improvement area, they might compare the pros and cons of different surfacing techniques. Certainly refinishing is a part of it, but again, let's help young people think beyond some of the traditional things. So work with your young people, remind them about that, help them think through their project work, because there surely has to be something on that list that's of interest to your 4-H members. The other thing, also at the bottom of the hot sheets, a whole list of resources to help your young members and guide their work and give them additional ideas. Another way to help young people discover exhibit ideas is to ask questions about what they've been doing. You might ask them, what were some of your goals for the project area? What did you do? What key points did you learn? Asking these kinds of questions helps 4-Hers also start to prepare for the conference judging experience at the county fair. If you need help framing and asking these kinds of guiding questions, refer to questions in the experiential learning materials. Also, don't hesitate to contact your county extension office for additional resources on that topic. I mentioned that asking those kinds of questions helps young people start to prepare for the conference judging experience. That is because once they get to the fair, judges will ask very similar questions. This is a good time in the exhibit planning process to inform youth about the 3 basic questions asked of all 4-H exhibitors. What did you plan to learn or do? What steps did you take to learn or do this? And what were some of the most important things that you learned? We're going to take a closer look at these questions in part 2 of this video series. Next, we're going to highlight a couple resources that you are going to want to access. This is the 4-H 203 materials called Strengthening Goal-Centered Learning in the Exhibit Experience. There's a piece for 4-Hers and one for adults. The 4-H 203 material is a very excellent reference piece. It's an excellent resource for volunteers to use. It'll help you work through with members on setting project goals, setting exhibit goals, preparing for the judging experience. It's just really an excellent resource to help you help your 4-H members. You can find this resource in multiple places on our 4-H website, and especially for volunteers under the list of volunteer resources. We hope this helps you get your 4-H members started with their fair exhibit preparation. Shelley and I will be back in another week with tips on preparing for conference judging. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.
Thank you.